by Regina Spektor. You've Got Time is the theme song of Orange is the New Black, the Netflix hit show that one of our guest stars in today, Laverne Cox. I'm Amy Goodman. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. As we talk about the violence and discrimination faced by transgender women of color, I want to turn to a story here in New York. On January 30th, a group of transgender women and their allies gathered outside the New York City Police Department headquarters to demand justice for Isla Nettles. Nettles was a 21-year-old transgender woman of color who was taunted with slurs, then beaten to death in Harlem in August. A suspect was arrested on assault charges, but the case against him was later dismissed. So far, no one has been charged with her murder. Protesters have accused police of mishandling the investigation. These are some of the voices from the rally. One of the voices in the middle of this piece is Isla Nettles' mother, Dolores Nettles.
No peace! No justice! No peace! Ain't gonna be no justice! Ain't gonna be no peace!
That I'm here, I'm living in New York City, and I'm as educated, and I'm as political, I'm as human, you know, because we're dehumanizing the trans community. And this is a prime example of dehumanizing someone in their rights.
With Isla Nettles, she was beaten until she could move no more outside of a police station. She was in a crux of 3 different police stations in a gentrified neighborhood of Harlem, where 10 different cameras are not working. This goes beyond just brutality and discrimination against trans folks. What about the safety of all New Yorkers? How could it be in the middle of Harlem and cameras don't work? This could happen to anyone. If it happened to a white woman, will we be standing out here right now in the freezing cold fighting for justice 6 months later?
Spoke to a Sergeant Dorsey on the 17th.
Dorsey!
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 From the PAL.
Sergeant Dorsey!
Sergeant Dorsey told me the only thing he could tell me was that the person was arrested. And I said half of my child's brain is out of her head. And that's all you can tell me? And no one came from that precinct. But I thank all of you for coming. I appreciate it, and that's all I have to say.
He was arrested, but he wasn't charged. And I sat with his mom, who was actually right there, Isla's mom, in court to listen to them sort of just destroy her as a person. It was disgusting, and she was the victim.
Unacceptable. We are tired. We are tired of waiting by lesbian and gay folk to champion their policies and what they're interested in. Marriage doesn't impact us. We're tired of being pushed away and discriminated against in housing, access to jobs, education, and we've had enough. And even with this particular murder, you know what I'm saying? This is continual. This is not something new. This is indicative of the NYPD. This is indicative of politics in New York City.
Comes to transgender people is violence chases us all everywhere, whether it's Cece Mcdonald in Minnesota or us here in Harlem in New York City.
Trans people are no longer a marginalized community. We're no longer a disenfranchised community. We're doctors, we're lawyers, we're taxpayers, and we demand and deserve the exact same rights as everyone else. We're not asking for special rights, we're asking for human rights. And so it's disgusting that this happens now. It's constantly happening. People are being killed all the time, and no one is being charged for it.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice!
Some of the voices at a rally calling for justice in the case of Isla Nettles. Special thanks to our Democracy Now! Fellow Messiah Rhodes for that report. Laverne Cox, this is a case that you've been particularly interested in here in New York.
Again, with Ilan's case, we see the safety of trans folks just walking down the street, having the audacity to walk down the street, being questioned, and so often the director of the California Center spoke at that rally and talked about how folks who've been served by the California Center, who are trans women who we've lost to violence, their cases haven't been solved. So often, these murders of trans women, and this we know it's the highest homicide rate amongst the LGBTQ community. It's trans women. It's usually trans women of color. So often these murders don't go unsolved, and I think it reflects how so often our lives are treated as if they don't matter by the police, treated as if they don't matter by society.
Cece, what was your response as you watched? This has to hit very, very close to home.
Yeah. Just watching that kind of just made me
go back to that time where I know what it's like to always have this guard up, because you don't never know when somebody will literally try to kill you for just being who you want to be. And to know that Elon's life was taken from her out of hatred and out of ignorance, it really upsets me, because I'm trans, and all the people that I know who are trans that are really close to me, I always have this fear for them, because I would never want someone to get a phone call saying that I was dead, or me getting a phone call saying that one of my friends was dead, because someone just wanted to hurt them. You know, like, it's rare that you hear about a trans woman living happily and long and having this glorious life where she dies of old age, natural causes, or whatever. Usually, from my own from me knowing about the history of violence against trans women, I've yet to hear of a trans woman who have just lived her life happily, and I'm trying to be one of those women who tells other trans women to educate themselves and to protect themselves and to be safe and to be cautious, because people do not care. Where trans people are like props to people sometimes, I feel like we're just less than human, and it's really ridiculous that we have to live a life like this every day. Like, I and so many other trans women who have dealt with violence, over the course of growing up, you know what I'm saying, have to deal with this on a daily basis. And for me to have to watch that was really heartbreaking, because it's another story. It's another name that we have to add to this day of Trans Day of Remembrance. And I always encourage people to, like, we have to change that. We have to make Trans Day of Remembrance Trans Day of celebration. We need to celebrate our lives. We need to celebrate being human, but it's just too much. I can't right
Laverne
now.
Cox, this hits close to home for you too, as you
It does. I think. I think for me, what comes up in listening to Cece talk is the collective trauma that so much of our community faces, and particularly, I think it's important to look at the intersectional piece, that we're usually talking about trans women of color, that there's something about that black bodies are under attack in this culture and black trans bodies are under attack. So it's important for us to remember that, and how do we create spaces of healing for ourselves as a community in the face of such oppression, in the face of such trauma. It's devastating. It's devastating to our community to continually hear about this kind of violence, and it's pervasive. It's intimate partner violence. In the documentary Free Cece, people can find out about it at freecdocumentary.net. In the documentary, we're going to be looking at intimate partner violence. We're going to be looking at all of the different elements of violence that surrounds these situations to hopefully find some solutions and ways to combat it.
I want to thank you all for joining us. We want to do a post-show after. We'll post it online, where I also want to talk to you about the new definitions or identifiers in Facebook and more. Our guests are Cece Mcdonald, who is just recently out of prison, Laverne Cox, the actress who stars in Orange is the New Black, and Alisha Williams, staff attorney with the Sylvia Rivera Law Project. And a great honor to have them all on this day, our 18th birthday. Democracy Now! Went on the air February 19th,